delicate branched panicles of switchgrass float above the prairie in Nebraska during the fall of the year, making it a wonderful addition to our prairies. Those little seeds, however, can really be aggressive and cause even the prairies to turn into almost a monoculture of this grass. Fortunately, there are a lot of cultivars on the market that have great potential for use as ornamental landscape plants in the right setting with the other perennials, grasses, and beautiful landscape shrubs. One of the cultivars of switchgrass that can really make a huge landscape statement is Dallas Blues. Everything about this plant looks like it's on steroids. The leaves are much wider, so the blades of the grass itself looks different when it comes out of the ground in the spring. And most importantly, look at the size of the panicle and that beautiful pink color. This is a grass that is not for the small of space or the faint of heart, however, because it is a pretty heavy stemmed grass. That also means that it can fall over in the wind, it could break under a snow load. So use Dallas Blues as a specimen in the landscape if you have a lot of space for it. Consider really staking it or tying it up earlier in the spring so these beautiful panicles can stand straight and tall. These year-old Cheyenne Sky switchgrasses are already showing their stuff. The difference between this one and Dallas Blues should be pretty obvious, even though that's an old plant. These are dwarf, much smaller, and they top out actually when they're mature at under 3 feet. More importantly, one of the really cool things about this grass is it has sort of a bluish tinge to the leaf blades, and then it goes into this beautiful, deep, almost a Merlot wine red. The panicles themselves are maybe not quite as showy, but overall this is a gorgeous switchgrass for smaller spaces, places where perhaps you don't have the room for the big ones, and more importantly, maybe you want some of that red fall color. It has a cousin, a new one called Blood Brothers, which we actually haven't tried yet, but we're looking forward to putting that in the garden next year. Another cultivar of switchgrass I want to mention is the one called Northwind. It stands straight, very, very tall, especially when we have a year of good rain, and it becomes an architectural focal point or an exclamation point in the landscape. It has very dense canopy of foliage, and then the plumes themselves are held high above the foliage. One of the downsides that we have seen with Northwind switchgrass, however, is that it can produce seedlings. So you can use it for a screen, you can use it as a focal point, but do be aware that you may have to rogue out a few of those seedlings in the landscape.